Today, I'm going to show you how I edit one of my Parks on the Air videos. I just did a big POTA yesterday at Galveston Island State Park, and I need to edit a video. And I thought it'd be neat to show you guys how I do it to help others make POTA videos. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best at making videos. I think I'm pretty far from that. But this is what I do, and hopefully you guys can learn something from this. So the first thing I want to mention, the editing process of my POTA videos starts way before I'm actually here in the edit room, the shack, if you will. During my trips, I'm taking B-roll, getting extra footage that we want to overlay over the other clips of the video, but I'm also editing who I want to add to the video while I'm actually doing the activation. So let me show you what that looks like. If we look here, this is my log from yesterday. I've never told anyone this. This is my secret to quickly editing a POTA video. The notes field right here, okay? So you'll see this little guy right here. That means I have a note on November Echo 4 Tango November Walt. And as we can go down, we can see notes all in through here. So what this does for me is really speeds up the process of editing, so I don't have to look and watch the entire activation. I can simply go, because these are time-stamped, I can go, so if I just added Walter to the video, the next guy I want to add is Dan, WD4DAN, because I have a note next to him. So I can know in my timeline, I got Walt at 1931, Dan's at 1933. So I can scrub 3 minutes ahead to find Dan's contact. So I'll be going back and forth between my editing software and my log to see who I want to add to this. Now I have a lot of people I want to add to this, so we're gonna add them all in the video, and then in the second run through, maybe we'll cut some out, and depending on how well the audio picked it up, maybe I'll cut them because of that. But we do need to make the video, somewhat reasonably short so people will actually want to sit there and watch it. But that's the biggest secret right there. Put a note, and all I do is put a V for video. That's it. So anytime I add somebody that I want to add to the video, I click the notes button there, I hit a V, and I hit enter, and there it is. So now I'm going to open up my editing software. I use DaVinci Resolve. I have the studio version, the paid version. Pretty much anything I'm going to do, for the most part, you should be able to do in the free version. This is not going to be a tutorial of how to use DaVinci Resolve, more just how I edit this. So I'm going to make a new project, and I'm going to call this I Conquered Galveston. Something like that. Now, I already have my media imported. I have a folder called Pre-Edit, and here are all the clips that I shot for this video, as well as any assets that I might want to add. So, for example, here's a shot of the Parks on the Air website that I took. My goal was to beat this N9mm guy, just so I could get on the leaderboard at Galveston Island State Park. So I took a screenshot of that before I went out. And then after I uploaded my log, I grabbed a screenshot of this so I could show that I'm actually on the leaderboard now. And a couple other things, like this is my log for Galveston Island State Park before I went up there. Here's a screenshot of the map. I think I have another one of those somewhere that I need to add. Oh, I already did that one right there, just to kind of show, how far I got out. So you want to have all your clips organized, and I put that in pre-edit, and we can go from there. Now, once I get into DaVinci Resolve, I have all of those folders here, so I can open up my videos folder, and there is pre-edit, and there is the I Conquered Galveston. Now, I've got a lot of clips for this video, but the first thing I want to do is grab anything that says .mov, those are my video files, and import those into my media. And the reason I want to do these clips first, for some reason, the Rode wireless mic that I use, or not the Rode, the DJI wireless mic that I use, imports or records everything on my iPhone as mono. So I need to highlight all these clips, right-click them, go up to Clip Attributes, go to the audio page, and make sure everything is on stereo. And then I want to have them embed in channel 1, and that way all of my clips will be stereo in the timeline. Then I'm going to go back and import any images that I might have that I want to add. So like here's the thumbnail I took for the video. I don't really need to import those. But then we do have these other assets down here at the bottom, all these different clips that I want to add. So we'll go ahead and drop those down into the timeline as well. And this is just the media import page in Resolve. Resolve is really nice because it basically, this page, you can import your media here, which you can really import anywhere. It's just a little more streamlined here. Then we have the cut page, which I don't really use at all. And then we have our edit page where we're going to do all of our actual editing. We have a Fusion page where you can do kinds of special effects and things, a color page, an audio page, and then this deliver page is where you're finally going to render it. So we'll go through all of this stuff. But the first thing I want to do is find the clip of the intro. And you can see I actually took some B-roll going out. So my first clip, the actual intro to this video, is this image 1147 right here. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that into my timeline. This area here is called a timeline, in case you don't know that. I'm going to shrink some of these a little bit. And I'm just going to start editing. So here is the beginning here. I've got a little bit of just, I turned the camera on and I need to get in frame. So I'm going to just cut that out. Now, one thing I want to advise, make hotkeys. On my keyboard, the Q button is going to trim anything left of the playhead. This vertical line right here, this guy right here, is called the playhead. By default, Resolve doesn't do this. But if I just hit the Q button, notice how it just deleted everything to the left of that playhead. I can hold Command and hit Z to undo that. Let's say I want to go to the end of the timeline, somewhere around here. Maybe I want to get rid of all this stuff. If I just push W, it's going to delete everything to the right of that playhead within the clip. It's not going to delete everything, just the selected clip that you have. So I'll hit Control Z to undo that. And I'm just going to go through here and kind of trim out the fat. Just get right there in the intro. And just kind of walk through each individual clip. And the first run through is just kind of a rough draft. I'll probably have about 90% of it done, maybe 85% of it done. But we just want to go through all of our clips. And so this is the intro. And we'll go ahead and listen to this.
I woke up this morning. I was kind of hemming and hawing. I'm going to play some radio.
Pretty sure I got everything right there. But then I did screw up right here.
Oh, and let's roll that.
So
come along with me.
I actually kind of screwed that up. Oh, and I also have the S button. I can just cut a clip wherever I want. So S just for me means split the clip. But it's actually this blade tool here. So basically all I'm using is the Q, W, S, and spacebar with my left hand, and then I have my mouse in my right hand, so I can use everything for my mouse.
So come along with me.
So right there, I'm going to split that, and then I'm going to kind of tighten this up to make it look like,
come along with
me.
Oh,
continuous
let's roll those
clip
stupid
there.
Driving intro video montage. Let's go.
And then I'll just trim that at the end to get rid of the excess there.
So come along with me. Oh. And let's roll those stupid driving intro video montages here, because I filmed one. Let's go.
Usually after I put the first clip in, I want to make some audio adjustments. So I'm going to go to the audio page in Resolve, and I'm just going to start my timeline at my playhead at the very beginning of the timeline. I'm going to jump over to the audio page here. Here's where I'm going to do some EQ and some compression. So let's jump over, and I'm going to open the EQ tab, and I like to use this ICE version here. I'm going to click band 1 just to roll off some of the low frequencies, and I'm going to hit band 6 to roll off some of the high frequencies. Then for band 3 and 4, I'm going to crank this Q factor all the way up, and I'm going to adjust these to kind of get rid of, there's kind of some weird frequencies that I like to kind of notch out. So let's give this a listen.
What is happening, everyone? I'm on Galveston Island.
So I'm going to start on 4.
I'm at Galveston Island State Park.
I'm just going to crank this all. I hear those real high frequencies.
Up this morning, I was kind of hemming and hawing.
Like right around there.
It dawned on me recently that I'm
going to grab the gain and I'm going to bring that down.
At this park, I've
just kind of want to notch those out. I'm going to do the same thing with 3.
The 5th place guy has like 1,170. So that means if my math is right,
kind of hear that warbling. I'm going to bring that down a little bit too.
Here
I crank up the highs a little bit.
But it's
and I'll usually set the lows kind of flat. So that's about all I do for EQ there. But if we go back to the our timeline here, we can watch these audio faders here.
What is happening?
You can see I'm clipping like crazy. So I want to actually put on some compression. So I'm going to go to this Dynamics tab.
What is happening, everyone?
So you can see we're peaking like crazy. So I'm going to turn the compression on, turn this threshold down.
I'm on Galveston Island, and I'm at Galveston
And we can see we've got the gain reduction going down there. I'm going to increase the ratio of compression.
Because it dawned on me recently that I am.
So now we're kind of like negative 15 we're peaking. We can use this makeup slider to bring that up.
Place guy has like.
And basically what this is doing is kind of squashing the peaks and raising the lower sounds.
1170.
Kind of make it a little equal.
Right. I need to do 271.
So somewhere around there. Now, sometimes if I have a lot of peaks, I'll put this limiter on, and we can see this line here, and that's basically going to help prevent anything over that. It's just gonna cut it. So
hopefully I can
just kind of a backup. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. But we can see how much we're peaking over here.
Absolutely beautiful.
And now because of compression, let's go back to the beginning of the clip.
Everyone, I'm on Galveston Island.
We got a lot of gain reduction going on. But we got a lot of peaks over here, and now we're not peaking. So that's about all I do for audio. Then I can go back to the edit page here, and sometimes I'll turn up the master volume here a little bit.
I'm on Galveston Island, and I'm at Galveston Island State Park.
Like that.
I woke up this morning. I was kind of hemming and hawing.
We'll leave them at zeros for this, but usually I will have these bumped up to about 2.5. Maybe I'll raise the channel volume there as well.
Recently, that I am not on
get it somewhere in the yellow.
I've got
a little bit of peaking is okay, but we don't want too much.
The fifth place guy has like 1100.
So that's about all I do for audio. So now I have a whole bunch of B-roll that I shot on my way out to the park to kind of tell the story and show a little bit of Galveston. I did this all just while I was driving, but I can click this little icon up here, and that's going to give me 2 viewers. And what that's going to do, so this viewer on the right is everything in our timeline. This viewer on the left is going to be anything here in what's called our media pool. And we can click on these things here. We get different effects, but right now we're working in the media pool. So the first clip that I have is driving out. I just got on the island off the freeway, and I can use this to scrub through here, and there's a Hooters there, so I thought it'd be funny just to show a Hooters there. So I can kind of scrub through here, and I can hit the I button to mark an in point, and I can scrub through. And somewhere towards the end, I can hit the O button on my keyboard. So I've got in and outs, and then I can just drag this file because I don't want audio on these. I'm going to put some music underneath this. I don't need to bring the audio. If I wanted to bring just the in and out points with the audio, I could just simply grab the whole clip there, and you can see it grabbed the audio of that as well, but it's just wind noise. We don't want that. And conversely, if I just wanted to grab the audio file, I could grab this audio thing here and bring it down if I wanted to just, for some reason, overlay some audio over something. But usually I just use this little film-looking thing here, and that's just going to grab the in and out points of the video that I selected.
Let's go.
So there we can see we're kind of showing the Hooters there, and I've got a whole bunch of clips just going out on the island to Galveston Island State Park. So we're going to add those and kind of make a little montage here. So the next one, this is on, it's called Seawall Drive. And I'm just going to scrub through here and find an interesting point. I basically just held the camera out the window and got it. So probably around here where we can see some people on some umbrellas. I'll hit the in point there, scrub through here a little bit maybe. Actually, I kind of like this in point better because we don't have as many cars going through it. And these are only going to be a couple seconds long. Whoops, lost my in point there. We'll make that the in point, and then I can drag this down here. So basically, we're just going to have a few second clips, and I'll probably trim these down a little bit after, just to kind of tell the story. Then we can go to the next clip here. These are actually oil rigs out in the ocean. I was at a stoplight, so I just filmed that. So I'm just going to click a random in and out point because it's just the same shot and bring it down here. And then you can see on our viewer, maybe I want that a little bit longer. So we can just expand this a little bit. But I want to zoom this in. So I can hit this button here, and I want to go to transform. And we can actually zoom these in here just to give it a better shot. And I can zoom out, and I want to show these guys something like that. Then I can change this back to fit. So you can see the oil rigs offshore. Next, I was coming up on this pier. So I get a little bit closer to it in the end of the shot. So probably somewhere around here. And you can use the left and the right arrows to go just to advance one frame or back one frame. So I'm going to hit the in point there. That's about good. We'll stop it right before this semi-truck. Something like that, and then I can hit the out point, and then we'll drag this guy down. And then, let's see. Then I passed this honey tent. I saw that, so I thought that might be a cool shot. So maybe I'll mark the in point somewhere around here. And the out point around there. In. And out. Drag this guy down. All right, so we're just kind of going through Galveston. There's some cool things to see. Then we come up on some houses on the beach. And I really like that blue house. So maybe I'll put the in point there. The out point there. Bring this guy down. And then we get some really cool houses here. I think I want to add these guys here. And you just scrub through and find interesting stuff that you want to add. And it all just helps tell the story. So that's probably too long. 44 to 48. Yeah, that's 4 seconds. We don't need that. So we can actually, you can see I'm kind of starting this in the middle of the frame. We can probably scrub ahead a little bit and then just trim that down. That's probably good enough. Here's a clip of, this is actually where one of the beer stores is. So I'll probably add one in here. And maybe an out point there just to show some shopping marts there. All right. Maybe trim that a little bit so we get a little bit closer into it. And then here's the actual drive turning in. This is the park, so we're turning in. So I'll probably put an in point here. And then I have to stop at this stop sign and wait for a bunch of cars, so it's kind of stupid to put a whole long video in there. Let's see, how long is this? Yeah, we'll cut some of that. See, how does that go? Maybe I'll cut a little bit more of that. The stop sign. And then here is actually going up to the front gate. Now, this one is actually pretty long. I'm actually going to bring this whole clip in here. Whoops. I just want the video of it, though. So we're going up to the stop sign. Now we're in the park going up to the gate there. And I want to show all this, but that's a pretty long clip. So I can right-click on this and go to change clip speed. And I'm going to change this to 700%. And that way we can just kind of zip in there, show it really quick. Now I have to get my pass to get in the park, so I stopped the camera. This next clip is basically going from that front gate to the parking lot. And again, I know I want to use this whole clip, but it's way too long, so we're going to go to change clip speed again. And let's try 700. That might be too long. Let's change that to maybe 1,000. So we're just speeding up the clip. Something like that. So let's play that back. We'll put music underneath all of this stuff so it'll kind of be fun. I'm going to go a little bit faster. Let's try 1,200. Something like that. And that's that whole montage. So basically we start at 1 minute 30 seconds, And these are the frames here. I shoot in 60 frames a second, but so we're 30 seconds, minute 30 to a minute 56. So that whole montage is only 26 seconds. I might tighten that down a little bit more in the second run, but we're just kind of trying to get things going here. And just looking back at this, I can already tell I want to tighten some of these up. So for example, maybe we can trim that down a little bit. That looks good there. Kind of want these to just be like 2 seconds-ish to have a nice transition. Hooters, the beach, more, some of those. Let's trim this down. This doesn't need to be that long. Some oil rigs, the pier, the honey, houses. Probably trim that down a little bit. Coming up to the market, pulling into the park, and there we go. So now the next clip is going to be basically this here, where I'm just kind of unpacking everything and talking about what I'm using. So I'm just going to drag this whole clip here into the timeline, and we'll just make some cuts as necessary.
So as per usual, I probably brought more than I need, but what are you going to do?
So I know there's a whole bunch of dead space here, so I'm just going to trim after I'm done talking, and then we can use these audio waveforms to kind of see where we're at in terms of important stuff, and maybe delete any kind of nasty things that I might do, like burping and farting and stuff. So this is just me unzipping it. So here, taking out the POTA Flex 6, so I can just get rid of all that.
POTA Flex 6, MacBook Air.
And we're kind of just cutting out all the dead space. So for example, whoops, we've got this whole, we don't need to see me unzipping a bag. So there's really no reason to have this, here this clip starts at 2 minutes, 1 second. So we've got 2 minutes and 10 seconds. So I've got 9 seconds of dead air. Just get rid of it. Just totally get rid of it.
Got to give a huge shout out to the Gigaparts Explorer bag for carrying all this stuff.
All right.
ICOM 7.
Maybe I'll split. So I split that there, kind of thinking I might want to get rid of this. This might not be important. Turns out it is. So I'm just going to hit Control Z and undo that, because we can leave this as one clip.
ICOM 7300 with the portable zero rails. Quirky QRP amateur radio band plan mouse pad.
Now we've got some dead space, so I'll make a cut there. Hit spacebar Q, get rid of that.
Pactena NFET half-wave with the K at MRD mod.
Cut that.
And that's probably all we need.
And we'll leave this part in for now.
That's probably all we need.
I know it's not all I need.
Apple Magic Mouse. Gotta have that.
I need that. So I can cut out all this stuff, get to where I start talking again. And I can also turn off this other viewer because I don't need it right now. I pretty much only need that when I'm going to add like B-roll and stuff, or if I want to make in and outs and stuff like that. So usually I'll be in this, but if I need that B-roll, I can open up that second viewer.
I'll talk about this in a minute.
See, there's a burp. We can we can cut that out. Good good can of Sprite I just had. Old man noises. We don't need those. So I can now I'm pulling out the solar panels.
And
we can make a cut there. I mean, there's a lot of jump cuts in these, which I guess isn't really professional, but we're just trying to get the point across here.
We've got a 120 watt power film panel.
I'll cut there. Get rid of that dead air.
Power film panel.
We don't need to see me ruffling through the bags. Let's go back a couple frames and delete all that.
And these cables here, I'll show you what they do in a minute, but they're really cool.
And we can probably delete that. And we can delete the rest of that.
Oh, and my 100 amp hour battery box.
Yeah, need that. And then we can cut the rest of it because we don't need it. So that's kind of the whole setting up and showing all the equipment that I'm using. And then here, let's go back to our multi-view there. We can show, I'm showing how I'm setting up the solar panels. So I'm just going to drag this whole one down here.
So check this out.
So, hitting the record button, walking out there.
So check this out.
We don't need to see all that, so we can just delete everything to the left of that.
So check this out. We can lay out our panels.
And we don't need all of this. So after I say we can lay out our panels, probably just cut to this. that. So
lay out our panels.
Lay out our panels. Cut there. Go back to something I'm saying. Maybe there's something important in here. We'll throw that laying down the panel. That's good enough.
So that's 100 watts.
And then I went and grabbed another panel, which we don't need to see all this off-camera stuff. So we'll just get back to where I start talking.
So that's a 100-watt panel. This is a 120-watt panel.
We can cut there. Kind of scrub through here.
Just lay them right.
And get somewhere where I'm laying it down. Little action shot.
Next to each other.
I'm going to cut there. I actually end up reorienting these. I can cut that. Maybe show a little bit of that. Which I don't need much of that. Let's just go somewhere around there. Get those action shots in there. And that's it. So then I go and grab a different angle, which is here. And maybe I don't screw anything up there. Let's see.
Because PowerFilm makes these connectors where you can run them in parallel. So you get two birds stoned at once.
So I'm just going to cut out like me finding the connector because we don't need that. We're just trying to get to the point.
Once. Like that.
There.
And then we plug one power cord into here. And both panels are connected for max power.
We probably make a cut there.
And we can take this.
Now we're showing putting in the cable there.
This. Right.
I'm going to cut that and just cut that. It's a lot of this is about just trimming like a second or two because they're just unnecessary. You just
plug that.
Get to the point. All right, so we just plugged it in there. We don't need the rest of this because this is all just me walking off camera. So we can just get rid of it. And then this next clip is showing connecting it all together.
Except I plugged the wrong panel. Except I plugged the wrong...
See, I said the wrong thing.
Panel.
So don't be afraid to take multiple shots or re-say something. The camera is not going to know or the editing software is not going to know once you cut it out because I screwed up what I wanted to say here.
Except I plugged the wrong panel. Except I plugged the panel.
So I'm just going to cut that.
Except I plugged the wrong cable into the panel, so I fixed that. And then on the other end, I have a power pole.
So I can cut it right there on the power pole because I'm going to jump to a next shot. So we can pretty much cut it right after I say power pole. And then we can go to this next camera angle. Pretty much to right where I start talking. Let's see where it is. And notice I take a big breath in. I want to cut that out as best I can.
I have a power pole that I can now plug in to the power pole input of my battery box, just like that.
Done. And right after I say just like that, I want to get rid of everything else. And then I go over to the side of the battery box and show the meter. So let's see what we can cut out of that.
And now you can see I'm getting...
So I kind of want to stop it.
And now you can
right
see
when
I'm
it's
getting 7
kind of on the focus of it.
Isn't that wonderful? Thank you, PowerFilm.
So there you are. Next, we're going to talk about how I'm setting up my antenna in this shot here. So let's see here.
For the antenna...
So this part, I actually kind of screwed up the shot. So here's an example of where you can see, like, you know,
these are intubating style.
Do another shot.
Little metal.
I wasn't happy with how I was putting it in.
For the antenna, I've got these metal.
So you can see.
For the antenna,
I just did another take. Just live right there. Just leave it recording. You can cut it all out. So we go from the meter to the antenna.
For the antenna, I've got these metal intubating stylets. And then for the mast, let's go over there.
So we'll cut it right after Let's Go Over There. And here I'm screwing around with a new thing from Ham Radio Dude. So I can just bring my playhead to close to where the audio starts, trim all the stuff to the left.
Our good friend Sean, the Ham Radio Dude, made this ground spike thing.
I did screw some of this up.
Like that much.
So I know somewhere I want to cut it. And here I screw up.
Would probably help to put the antenna on the mast first.
So I've got a lot of stuff that I need to like tighten up. You can see there's some dead space. I actually have to move the mast and kind of redo the shot a little bit. So we need to kind of make this seamless, or as seamless as possible. So we're talking about the spike.
Vertical. Yeah.
Put it in the ground.
That should work. It would probably help to put the antenna on the mast first.
Show I'm a dummy.
This is literally the first time I've taken this out.
I don't need any of this stuff because I do end up moving the spike.
Yeah, somewhere around here.
We don't need to see me struggling putting in the spike, but yeah, maybe that'll work. We can leave that in there. And here's where everything goes south. So I can see all these little marks here, so I know that's where I'm hammering. So I'll just start somewhere in there. Get a little bit of that. And here's where I don't like it. I don't need any of that because I'm going to get to something else in a minute. So just showing me hammering in the spike. And then I may have broke it.
Okay, so hitting it with a hammer was a really bad idea, and now I can't screw it together. So plan B.
I had a plan B. What had happened is it dented the thread, so I couldn't screw it in together. So we basically just kind of want to show that process as quickly as possible. But I do spend a lot of time actually talking about this, so I'll probably end up go back and watching all of this.
Sean, the ham radio dude, made this. I swear I've done this before.
So I don't need a lot of that stuff.
Put this prototype with the prototype, so
I'm going to cut that.
I help to put the antenna on the mast first. You know, I do have a hammer I should probably get instead of putting all the pressure on this 3D printed stuff. Let me do that. Pressure on this 3D printed stuff.
And we can just delete that. I mean, we're at 6:04 to 6:05, so literally just deleting 1 second, but we don't need to hear me say, let me do that.
Pressure on this 3D.
Probably shorten that a little bit too.
Printed stuff. Okay, so hitting it with a hammer was a really bad idea, and now I can't screw it together. So plan B.
And we can just go right to where I'm talking. Plan B.
So plan B. We'll just use the garbage to our advantage. They happen to have these garbage barrels sitting here.
There we are. So that clip is fine. I don't really need to cut that too much. Then I've got some B-roll. So I can use these buttons here to kind of expand and embiggen my timeline to zoom in or zoom out. So I'm looking at the whole timeline. And I actually have more footage after I started talking at the beach, but I want to put that after the montage we made. So I'm going to add some stuff here. I'm going to open up my other viewer. And this clip right here, I was showing there was some fish kind of going up on the shore there, so we can kind of just watch this and
running up and down
see where we want to add an in and out point. So I'm going to start back at the beginning. I think I can put my in point right at the beginning.
Well, there's little
maybe not.
Well, there's little fishies running up and down the water here.
So that's about all we need. I'm going to actually back that up a little bit, and then I'm going to put my out point there. And I can actually just grab this with the mouse, and I can drag it over this clip, and I can put insert, and it's going to insert it right where that red line, that playhead is. So it's just going to automatically put that right in there. So after our little montage,
well, there's little fishies running up and down the
I want to put that right there. But I've actually got quite a few more clips. Some of this is B-roll, some of this is actually me talking. So all the B-roll I'm going to put over the actual activation when I'm just sitting there talking on the radio, just to add a bit of difference so you're not just staring at me talking in the radio the whole time. But this shot here, I'm talking about the state park and how I like it and all that stuff. So,
and I know I've said it before in previous videos, but they just remodeled this park.
So I'll make an in point right before I start talking.
First, I need to wash off my feet.
So I knew I was going to wash off my feet there. That's the last thing I said. So I'm going to put the playhead right in between and just drag that over and insert that. And then for some reason, I thought it would be a good idea to show washing my feet. So we'll get right before I push the little button there.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think that's probably the better endpoint there.
That's enough.
So that's probably good there. And I may cut all this at the final render. That'll work. We don't need the rest of that. And then so we can just put the in point at the beginning.
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
Maybe not.
And big shout.
I think I'm just going to do the big shout out. I thought it was funny because they were squeaking, but I'm going to cut all that crap out. And we'll just make the endpoint right there.
And big shout out to Josh for giving me the Bucky's croc pin there. Thanks, Josh.
And we can drag that and insert it there. I think that's good there. So we just added this little bit of stuff there after our montage. But I did notice one thing. I want to change these two clips here, just driving through the houses. I don't like the way they're just jumping from one house to the next. So I'm actually going to grab one of these. I'm going to bring this other shot over of the shopping center there, just to kind of separate it and have a little bit of differentiation. So you get houses, a shopping center, more houses, just to separate it a little bit there. So I like the way that looks. So now that I have kind of the whole intro and everything set up, I'm going to go to the actual activation itself, which are these 5 clips here. I used 2 different cameras. I used my iPhone 14 Pro Max for basically all these files starting with 1.1. These are all from my iPhone 14, and these starting with the 5 are from my old iPhone 8. So I know these are the whole activation, and I've got a lot. So we're going to drag this first one in here, and that is long. So we need to trim all this down, and there's actually, if I were to grab all 5 of these clips and bring them in, we can see just how much footage we have that we need to cut down. So the whole thing is 3 hours and 27 minutes long. Nobody's going to watch that. So we need to do a lot of cutting. The goal is to make this as short as possible while still making it enjoyable. So I am going to delete all of these for now because I don't need them. We'll zoom in a little bit. Old man noises, we can cut those out.
Let's rock and roll and see if we can...
So we're going from there.
Let's rock and roll and see if we can make...
And maybe I'll add a transition right here, but we'll do that later. So basically what I'm doing, we don't need all this static, but I want to cut this to where it's kind of a little more natural.
Let's rock and roll and see if we can make some contacts, huh? Is the frequency in use. Kilo 8 Mike Romeo Delta is the frequency in use.
And cut that.
Doesn't sound like it.
And maybe I'll leave that in for now.
Doesn't sound like it.
Probably
Let's
not.
go ahead and spot. Doesn't sound like it. Let's go ahead and spot.
So just using the arrow keys to go back a few frames. But I maybe we'll add that. Doesn't sound like it. Let's go ahead and spot.
In use.
I'll usually throw a CQ in there.
Park US 3013. CQ Park's on the air.
And we'll cut it right there.
CQ Park's on the air. CQ Park.
And here's where we can use the waveform just to kind of see, where we're making contacts. And, this is all static right here. And then we see me talking.
CQ Park's on the air. CQ Park. CQ POTA.
So there's the first contact. So I'm going to edit it there. And here's where we can go back to our log. That was Kilo Delta 3 Yankee Oscar at 28 minutes. So I know I can go to the 31-minute spot, so we can jump ahead a couple minutes on our playhead. So we're at 7:40, and then we have timestamps up here too. So somewhere around the 9-minute mark.
Out of the 5-6 Ohio, thanks. 7 Whiskey Alpha 9 Tango Mike.
November Echo.
So we have calling CQ, and we've got our first contact.
November Echo 4 Tango November.
So we'll stop it here somewhere.
Okay, have a great
Maybe
day
cut
there,
out a
Mike.
little bit of this.
U2 73 Kilo.
Hey there, Mike 73.
U2 73 Kilo 8 Mike.
Okay, have a great day there, Mike.
See if we can zoom in a little bit to find a good spot to
Mike
cut that.
73.
U2 73 Kilo 8 Mike. U2 73.
Maybe we'll cut it right there.
73.
U2 73
Actually,
Mike Romeo Delta Park's on the air.
we'll leave that parks on the air there. And then we can go back to our log, and I know from Walt was on 31, and then Dan 33, so we can go 2 minutes ahead. So we're 8 minutes here, so we want to find somewhere around the 10-minute mark. So the next one should be
Roger
Dan.
that, man. Well, look at that. It's Whiskey Delta 4 Delta Alpha November. How are you, bud?
Man, we're making it still on emergency power, 100 watts and input.
See you, man. Take care. 73.
Thanks, man. 73 QRZ.
Take care. 73.
So I'll probably just cut it right there where he says 73. And I've got a couple more notes for these next two guys, so we'll see how that goes. Thanks, man. 73 QRZ, Kilo 8 Mike Romeo Delta.
November 1, Mike Hotel Victor.
Was it November 1 Mike Hotel Victor?
Yeah, roger that, Mike. How you doing today?
Thanks, man. 73 QRZ, Kilo 8 Mike Romeo Delta. So I can cut it right there, delete all that stuff, so we just get the guy's call sign.
November 1, Mike Hotel Victor.
So there wasn't anything actually really interesting in that, so I'm gonna cut that whole contact, even though I have him as something marked. Let's see about this Alpha Echo 4 X-Ray Oscar. Romeo Delta. So we just go from Dan. Get rid of some of this static before he comes in.
We'll see you, man. Take care. 7-3.
So I might cut that.
Echo 4 X-ray Oscar, 59 Georgia.
Roger,
Right there.
59 Georgia. Thanks, 73.
Just to get his contact in there. We don't need to hear me saying Roger 59, you know.
Alpha Echo 4 X-ray Oscar.
So now it's kind of a call, like it's cool to show the whole pile up there. So all of this to this kind of little break right here is just everybody coming at me, but then I say, who's the Kilo Delta 9? So, you know, just kind of a creative choice. Do you leave that in or do you cut it out?
Delta 9.
Kilo Delta 9, Delta Victor Foxtrot, Park to Park.
Kilo
Oh, he's
Delta
a park
9,
to park,
Delta
okay.
Victor Foxtrot.
Andy,
You're
sounds good.
5-7 into 3013.
You're coming in 5-9 and booming into Park 1746, Missouri, over.
Route of the 1746, Missouri. Thanks for the park to park, man. Appreciate it. Have fun out there.
Right there.
Thanks for all the videos.
Oh,
Hey, my pleasure. Making one now. I'll throw you in it. So I'm waving to the camera right now at you.
I'll have to put it on. 73.
Yeah, I'll probably have it out sometime next week.
so I can cut it right there. He said he liked the video, so, you know,
Park to park, man. Appreciate it. Have fun out
leave
there.
him in there. And I'm going to continue doing that process for this entire log, which will still be a ridiculously long video. So let me do that, and I will jump ahead to after that. So after editing just this first clip, we can see we're at 722. I just put a marker right here, which you can add markers just by hitting the M key. But that's the beginning of the POTA activation, and we've got it down to 16 minutes total. So basically from 724 to 1629, we just took all this footage and compressed it down. And if we hit this little eye on here, we can see just that one clip alone was 42 minutes 37 seconds that we just compressed down to about 9 minutes. We're still gonna probably end up cutting out a lot of this stuff, but that just shows you how much you can take out of the video. But I still have 4 more clips to do this too. So, and it's just repetition. You drop the clip in, you listen to who's doing what, going back and forth, just following along with my log here for anyone that I made a note to potentially add into the video. And some of them I actually have edited out already just from going through here, and there wasn't anything really special, or sometimes their audio sucks, and sometimes I just put someone in, maybe their audio sounds good, or maybe we had what I thought was an interesting conversation but might not be for YouTube. So that's just kind of my methodology here. So I'm going to keep trucking, and we'll come back once all of these clips are cut down, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, and now I have all of these shots edited down from this marker here at 7. Now we're down to 28 minutes long. So from here to here is still 21 minutes of mostly just contacts. There's a little bit of me talking to the camera, changing bands, stuff like that. So I'm going to go through this again. I know there's a couple parts I still need to tweak, like this big shot right here. I don't think I got that in the edit. And then also here, if we zoom in where I took out the audio here, it's lunchtime, so I'm just showing opening a sandwich, so I'll just have some music under that. But I want to listen, I want to play back through all of this, and we got to make cuts. Like, I would love to include everyone in these videos, but the bottom line is for retention for POTA videos is pretty low to begin with. Pretty much once all the the intro stuff and the setup is kind of done, YouTube stats show you that pretty much everyone stops tuning out or starts tuning out as you start making the contacts, myself included. I just don't like sitting through watching other people make contacts, but a lot of viewers do, so I make these videos still. But we got to clean this up. We got to cut it down. Plus, I still have other footage that's going to go after this, so we need to cut this down by a whole lot. So we've got 21 minutes to cut down. Let's see where we end up with after I make some more edits. Another thing I'll do when I'm kind of trimming this, so for example, this clip here, let me play this.
9.
So I'm saying, who's the Kilo Delta 9? I'm just going to trim out all of that.
Who's the
But
Kilo
one thing
Delta
I pay
9?
attention to, so like if
Delta
I just
9?
trim right there, it gets rid of the who's the Kilo Delta 9. But there's still that little bit of me unkeying, those little clicks.
Delta 9.
Hear that?
9.
So I've got a little bit of space in this. So here's the click
9. 9.
right there. So I'm just going to get rid of that too. So I listen for like any of those clicks, especially going between one shot to the next. You know, like I want to get rid of those kinds of things.
Who's the Kilo Delta 9?
So I'm actually going to cut that right there. So it just goes from this part
Indiana. Kilo Delta 9.
and just kind of more of a seamless transition.
Indiana. Kilo Delta 9.
So just looking out for all kinds of little things, little microseconds we can trim from this, or a whole second, whatever. Just trying to tighten this up as much as possible. And here's another example on this next shot. So basically I'm just paying attention to where I make my cuts. And here, we'll listen for that click. So I've got a click on the end of this last track or clip and the beginning of this one. So I want to, see that? I want to just get rid of those. And you can see this little bit of the waveform right there is that first click. So I could just cut it right where he says 73 or anywhere before that click there. So we'll just get rid of that. And then we might not be able to get it off of this one. And we maybe could. Because it's right there. We can zoom in. It's just this little bit right here. So we can just go 1 frame, 2 frames up, get rid of that. Can't really get it out of that one. That's quite the jump cut. But we could actually cut it before he starts talking so we can get rid of this whole waveform. And that's a little more seamless in terms of the clicking and audio.
73.
So that's kind of what I'm looking for. All kinds of little details there. So now I've gotten it pretty much tightened down as best I can. We're still 20 minutes long, so I shaved off about 7 minutes or 8 minutes or so from that. So, but this activation part is still 13 minutes long, which is kind of long for what I like. But I knew getting into this before I even started editing. I knew this was going to be a longer video. And the good news is I only have this clip right here to add, which only adds about another minute or two, just kind of the send off, if you will. So that's all. That's the only other thing we have to tweak of the main edit. Then we're going to go in. I'm going to add a bunch of B-roll over all of the Parks on the Air activation part of it and do that. So let's trim this guy down here a little bit. The send off, if we will.
Great ocean
I think I was able to do this all in one
the
take.
fresh air is so wonderful. Not bad for a few hours worth of work. Not too shabby. And just, I mean, it's a 2-hour trip. And
Yeah.
we'll see you next time on Ham Radio Tube. 73, y'all.
And that's it. So I'm pretty sure I got all that in one take. So that is the whole video right there. 21 minutes, 53 seconds. I might do one final run through, but the next step I want to add during the activation, actually before then, I feel I need to add some stuff to the beginning of this when I'm talking about the stats of the park, in which I'm going to grab kind of these graphs here showing where I was and who's doing what at the park and all that. So I need to find that.
And I'm at
This is where the picture I'm showing of Let me shrink this.
Board at this park. I've got 900 contacts.
Okay, so I need to show
Because it dawned on me recently that
I'm not the leader of this park, so I'm going to throw this clip on there.
recently that I am not on the leaderboard at this park. I've got 900 contacts. Because it dawned
So it's like, where do I want to put this?
recently that I am.
So now I want to add a little bit of color. I want to highlight that guy's call sign. So I'm going to go into Effects, and under Generators, I'm going to add a color generator. And we see it's all black right now. So I'm going to go up here to Inspector, and I'm going to change the color to lemon. Then I'm going to go to Settings. I'm going to change under Composite from Normal to Linear Burn, and that's going to kind of give me a highlight. But then I'm going to crop this down because I just want to highlight that guy's call sign. We can crop to the right, crop the top, and crop the bottom, just to highlight his call sign there. And I can hit P to go between full screen and this screen. But then I want to animate this. I want to animate this highlight in, because right now it's just gonna go from this clip to that. And yeah, that's there, but it'd be cool if I could just animate that. So I'm actually going to crop the right until that is gone. And I can actually zoom in a little bit. And once that's gone, I'm going to hit that keyframe. Then I'm going to use the arrows. So I've just advanced 15 frames here. I'm going to hit that keyframe again. So I'm basically telling it to start at 0, and then I can use this arrow to go back to the next keyframe. Keep it at 0 until this frame. Then I'm going to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames ahead, and we can move this crop right over to where we highlight it. And it automatically adds the keyframe there. So when we play this, let's embiggen it.
Recently that I am not.
See how that just animated it right there. So that's a cool.
Recently that I am not on leaderboard
transition there.
I've got 900 contacts.
Then I can go back to my media pool, and I'm talking about my 900 contacts at this park. So I'm going to grab this shot here.
At this park, I've got 900 contacts.
I actually probably want to move this first one back.
I am not on leaderboard at.
Actually, we'll shorten this down a little bit because I want to move this over.
I am not on leaderboard.
And then I want to bring this in.
Park. I've got 900 contacts.
Oh, I should have paid attention to my own video. And so I can just move this over there just by highlighting them. I can move them both. Whoops. And put it where I want it. So I'm actually going to move this where I say the 5th place guy.
The 5th place guy.
Can move that over.
The 5th place guy has like 1,170. So that means if my math is right, I need to do 71.
So a little bit of animation there. That looks good there.
At this
I want to cut a little bit of this out, though.
I've got
just to get rid of that dead air.
The 5th place guy has like 1,170. So that means if my math has like 1,170. So that means if my math is
so that looks good.
Right, I need to do. And let's roll those stupid drives in Island State Park. So come along with me. Oh. And let's roll those stupid.
So I'm going to cut out that O.
Oh.
I'm just going to cut it right there.
Those stupid driving in Island State Park. So come along with me. And let's roll those stupid driving intro video montages here, because I filmed one. Let's go.
All right. So then we have our stupid driving montage. So the next thing I want to do is add some B-roll over this. But I made some markers here. So I got a couple YouTubers in here, KM4ACK and VA5MUD. I want to grab a screenshot of their channel. And I also have a note here. I've got some B-roll just going in the cooler because I took that shot, so I figured why not. So let me grab that real quick. We'll close our inspector and find wherever I am going into my cooler. So we'll mark an in point, grab my Sprite, and that's it. Because over here I'm talking about the joys of having a 12-volt cooler, so we'll see where that goes in there somewhere.
Thank God for 12-volt coolers. Got a couple pops in there and some Arnold Palmer.
So somewhere around here.
Box in the car, some Arnold Palmer and stuff. Love it. So I think I'm gonna try 40 now.
All right, so that takes care of that little guy. Then here I worked VA5MUD. He's got a YouTube channel. So I'm gonna go over to YouTube and type in VA5MUD. And we're gonna just grab a screenshot
Hello, you hams and non-hams out there.
of his channel. Just like that. I'm also gonna get KM4ACK, my arch nemesis, and we'll grab a quick screenshot of his channel. Something like that. And those are just going to save to my desktop, so I'm just going to grab those and drag them into this project folder. Then I can go back to Resolve in the media pool, and should be these bottom two. So I'm going to grab those and add those to the media pool. Maybe. There we are. And here on Mud, I'm going to grab his channel. So I'll probably throw him somewhere around here.
Victor Alpha 5.
Maybe right where I start seeing this call sign.
Victor Alpha 5, Mike.
And then we can grab this here. We'll just do a transform. Make this a little bit smaller. Somewhere up in the top there.
Victor Alpha.
Then I can go into my effects. I've got some preset video transitions. And we will do a push left, meaning push it from the left, and then we'll do a push right there, so it'll just kind of animate in and out.
Victor Alpha 5, Mike Uniform Delta. How are you, bud? I got you about a 3-3 into US 3013.
Yeah, maybe we'll expand it a little bit.
Victor Alpha 5, Mike Uniform Delta. How are you, bud? I got you about a 3-3 into US 3013.
And then we'll do the same thing for my arch nemesis, 1KM4ACK. There. And I can actually go to this because I don't want to resize everything, so I can actually copy that, go back to my arch nemesis and right click on that and hit paste attributes. And if I hit this video attributes, look at that. It automatically resized it, although I do need to move it a little bit because it's a little bit bigger size picture there. But something like that, and then we can animate him in again. Push left, push right.
Hour to kill.
I'm going to move that over a little bit.
Charlie Kilo, Charlie Kilo.
Kilo, Mike 4
There.
Alpha.
That looks good right when he's saying kilo.
Mike 4 Alpha, Charlie Kilo.
So I want to make this transition a little bit faster so I can actually click on the transition itself and go up here into Inspector. Inspector is kind of where you modify everything. You spend a lot of time in there. I want to make that 15 frames. Just make it a little bit faster. And I'll do the same thing with the end there, just so it animates in a little bit quicker.
Kilo, Mike 4.
Yeah, I like that better.
Kilo, Mike 4.
It's a little bit snappier. And let's do the same thing to our friend Mr. Mud. Change the out to 15 frames. And we'll change the in to 15 frames. And there we are.
Victor Alpha 5,
a little bit faster.
Mike.
I like that better. Now I don't really need these markers anymore, so I can just go ahead and delete them. You can leave them in if you want. Doesn't really matter. I don't need them. And we'll delete that one too. And I actually forgot one clip, this one here at the end, right as the activation was over. So I do need to throw that in. So I'm just going to add an insert point here.
Oh, man.
Oh, get that right as I'm walking in. My camera died.
Oh, man.
So I had to switch cameras out. Didn't get the end of it.
And the camera.
And we'll get there walking off camera. That'll be good. And I'll put my playhead right there and insert that, and bam, that's done. So that part is now in the video. I also added this marker back because I will kind of need that for the next step, which is really the fun part for me, where I took a lot of B-roll. Guys, when you're out there making these videos, as you're walking around, setting up or driving there, whatever, grab your camera. Take shots of all kinds of random things. Like here's a shot of me just walking on the boardwalk here up to the beach. There's some people out there fishing, some birds, wildlife. I just lowered the camera by the water and got some cool water shots there. Here's some more of the fish, all kinds of stuff. And then as I was leaving, it was straight up golden hour. So I got some more stuff. You can see the sun setting. You know, this stuff here as I'm blasting the heavy metal music. This is leaving Galveston Island, but it was just such a pretty sunset. So I want to add all this stuff in, and I'm going to overlay it over the activation, because 13 minutes of ham radio contacts when you're not making the ham radio contacts can be kind of boring. So I want to make this as entertaining as possible and kind of break up the monotony of just this camera sitting in front of me. So I'm just going to start at the top here. And the cool thing about Resolve, let me zoom in here. The clips that I've used, you can kind of see at the bottom of this clip, there's a red line there. That's showing me that I've used that part of that clip. So I can really just go through here and look for the clips that I haven't used, and that's going to be my B-roll. So like here, I took a shot of some animals there, and we'll just scrub through here and kind of, you know, I take at least 5 seconds of just, you know, some of these still shots. Sometimes they're longer, but I definitely want to get at least 5 seconds just so I can kind of add an in and out point there. So there we can kind of see a little bit of action from the birds. So we'll just hit the in point there. A couple seconds long, doesn't have to be much. Hit the out point there. And then I can just drag this onto the timeline. Let's embiggen this a little bit. And we'll just put them kind of separate, and kind of separate them evenly.
Park to park.
Kilo Delta 9, Delta Victor Foxtrot, you're 5-7 into 3013.
So you get a little bit of break in the action there, you can see. So, and I'll just keep doing that, and I'll try and spread them out evenly across this 13 minutes here. So let's do that and have some fun. And this is kind of where the editing process gets a lot more creative and fun. So I'm going to do that, and I'm actually going to move this over a little bit. And I want to put this shot right here in the beginning. Something like this, just showing walking out to the beach. Maybe I'll go a little bit further up. And I might actually use more of this other places, or just chop it up a bit. So maybe a little bit of this, a couple seconds there, hit an in and out, drag it down into the timeline.
So 8 Mike Romeo Delta, let's go ahead and spot.
And actually, that would be nice to just have a whole long thing here,
CQ parts on
as
the
I'm
air.
calling
CQ
CQ.
parts on the 013.
So that would be cool to have this shot over that. Let's
CQ
see how
parks
that
on
works.
the air. CQ parks on the air from Kilo 8 Mike Romeo Delta.
Maybe we'll cut that up, because I kind of want to get some of these far shots.
CQ parts on the air. CQ parks on the air from Kilo 8
So I can cut that there, trim it down a little bit.
Mike Romeo Delta at Galveston Island State Park, US 30.
Cut it there, trim it down a little bit.
3013, calling CQ Delta, Galveston Island State Park, US 3013.
Want to get that shot of putting the feet down.
CQ for parks on the air from Kilo 8 Mike Romeo Delta, Galveston Island State Park, US 3013. CQ parks on the air.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
CQ parts on.
And it automatically remembers the in and out. So maybe we'll throw the birds around here. We could actually make that a little bit longer.
Hey, my.
So I'm just going to continue to do that, and I'm kind of just going to place them a little haphazardly, and then I'll end up spacing them out a little bit more to where it makes a little bit more flow of the video,
Missouri, thanks
where
for
you
Park to
get
Park, man.
some of
Appreciate
the
it.
activation and
there.
then some of the nature. So let's do that. So now I've got everything, all the B-roll kind of spaced out where I want, but the next thing that I would do, if we just roll into the B-roll, it's just kind of an abrupt change. So on the tracks, you can see we get this little white handlebar. We can grab those, and that's just going to be a little fade in or fade out, depending on if it's at the beginning of the clip, it's a fade in, or a fade out at the end of the clip. So I'm going to go back to all of these little clips of B-roll, and I'm just going to add 20 frames of in and out, just to kind of see how it gives it that nice transition there. So I'm just going to go and do that for every single one of the clips,
746 Missouri.
just to kind of smooth it out a little bit. So now I want to put a little Easter egg in for my buddy Frank. So on this clip of B-roll, I'm going to make sure that's selected. Then I'm going to head over to the Fusion page, and I'm going to go ahead and track one of these little seagull guys here. I want this guy right here, so I can move the tracker. And we'll just put the crosshairs right on his head and do a little forward and reverse tracking. Then I'm going to add a text plus node. We'll go ahead and drag it over there. And I want that to say tank radio and do his little thing there. And voila. Put this over the little seagull there. And let's change the font. I want that one. And we'll put a little outline on it as well. Let's make that a little bit smaller. And then we got this little birdie saying, "Tank Radio!"
Got the 9188. Got you about a... Roger.
Just something funny there. I also trimmed a little bit more out of me setting up the mast wherever that is. I cut a couple minutes out of that. They just weren't really pertinent to the activation there, so shortened it down. So we should be a little bit shorter. Now we're 21 minutes, so I cut, I don't know, probably a minute or so out of that. So that's good. And towards the end, I need to put in a little bit more of one of these things showing that I am on the leaderboard now. And then we just need to find where that is. Oh, I need to put that in too. Found that. So we'll throw this image of the map here. So I can do a couple things here because it's not the right format or the right size. So we could embiggen this a little bit. Let's do that. And then I'll put a dynamic zoom on it. Something like that. See how that goes.
Got a great spread. Got a couple Puerto Rico stations all the way down to Costa Rica.
I don't know where I actually said I'll put that thing, but I said it somewhere.
Oh my God. At 5th place as soon as I get home and upload my log, and hopefully no one has uploaded a log.
So we can do that. And now I want to add that highlight that we did earlier. So we can grab this color generator and just copy it. Paste it right there.
X in the log, which should put me at 5th place as soon as I get...
And look at that. It copies that animation that we did.
At 5th place as soon as
like
I get
that.
home and upload. Put me at 5th place as soon as I get home and up.
Gotta love it. Okay, so that takes care of that. And that should be about it for the main edit. Then we can just add some music to it. I think that's about all we need to do. And finish it up. So I can go back to my media page. And here I have a whole music library of royalty-free songs that you can download from YouTube. So I'm going to pick some songs and we'll get to adding them. So I got this first track here, this Burlesque Heartache. I think that sounds...
What is happening, everyone?
Okay there. Then for the montage, I want something a little more epic. Maybe, we'll see. This song Believe is pretty good. I've used it in a few videos.
Here, because I filmed one. Let's go.
Let me... We can fade the music out. I'll fade it on that last track there. Maybe bring this over a little bit more and fade it in.
Stupid driving intro video.
Actually, let me solo this track really quick. Right there is where I want it to start. So I can put a marker there and bloop, just like that. So right where that really heavy hitting comes in will be the start of that transition into the music. Let's see how that goes.
And let's roll those stupid driving intro video montages here, because I filmed one. Let's go.
Yeah, that's not too bad. If I really felt like it, I could adjust these clips and kind of match the beat, but I'm not overly concerned about it. And then we can end it. I'll bring it a little bit after that, cut it, delete that, and then just fade it out, and then we'll add a new track for another song. Let's try a little Hotlanta. Fade that in a little bit. What am I on? Track 4 now. Bring that volume down.
Well, there's little fishies running up and down the water here.
So now this song kind of ends. I'm going to trim it up a little bit, and I'm actually just going to copy this and use it again. Whoops. Let's see where that goes.
Because PowerFilm makes...
Maybe. Do I want to use that song again? No, I don't. That's kind of ending on a natural spot there. Actually, that's where I can add that one. I think that'll be a good transition there. And turn that way down.
Makes these connectors where
that should be good there. And then for the actual activation part, I'm not going to have any music, so we can actually kind of roll it off right there. Whoops. If I hit the right buttons. Let me bring this a little bit past that. Actually, I'm going to bring this to the end of that clip, and we'll just fade it out for that whole clip.
Let's rock and roll and see if we can make some contacts, huh?
And then when we get on the air, we'll have no music.
Mike Romeo Delta.
So we can just enjoy the activation.
Doesn't sound like.
And then at the end, I think we're just going to throw a little kazoom on that because I'm pretty happy, and this is fun music. And I use it a lot. I think a lot of us actually use. I know Hayden uses kazoom. So right there, but I actually want to bring it in because if we solo this, it kind of has a little intro. So I want that. Yeah, that should be good.
nothing intact.
And that'll go for the whole ending there. And we can just cut it. I might fade it out. I don't know.
Ham radio tube 73 off.
Yeah, we'll fade it out a little bit.
YouTube crap, and we'll see you next time on Ham Radio Tube 73 off.
And that's it. That should be a completed video. So then I'll usually watch this through one more time, make sure I have everything right. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I need to put right here where there's a gap. I want to put everyone's favorite stupid elevator song.
Yum.
That.
I think it's lunchtime.
Yeah.
Yummy, yummy.
Perfect. Done. And that is what a completed edit looks like. So now I'm really done. I think that's it. So that is how I edit a video for YouTube. I'll usually watch this one more time and just make a couple quick tweaks if I need to. But that's it. All those hours of filming and editing to fruition. It's great. So hopefully that helps out. Or if anything, you just found it interesting to see how I edit. And hopefully I don't suck at editing that bad, and you guys are gentle on me in the comments. But if you're interested in getting into DaVinci Resolve, don't ask me questions. Watch Casey Ferris and Mr. Alex Tech. Those are the two guys that I watched to learn about DaVinci Resolve. It is an incredibly stupidly complex program, but I love it. I absolutely love it. So thanks for watching. My name is Mike. This is Ham Radio Tube. We'll see you next time.